Right, we're back, continuing phase 2 of Age of Apocalypse storyline. Next up is Weapon X number 2. It's called Weapon X. He's called Weapon X. I always call him Wolverine. I can't help it. My bad. Cool cover by Adam Kubert. He's jumping, like these are some ships or something. He's jumping out and he's on fire. That's fucking crazy. So let's see what happens. Fire in the Sky. That's a fun movie, even though like the supposed real life story it was based on turned out to be fucking fake that we all knew. Adam Kubert pencils. And in the first issue, you could tell that the art was a little bit different. And then I, looked at the credits and it said that Adam Kubert did the breakdowns, and then you had like 2 or 3 other artists doing the finishes. You got Adam Kubert and Dan Green on inks. I think my brother Roberts talked about him as an inker. I don't really know inkers that much. But this is more Adam Kubert than the previous issue. And it must have been the issue of Wolverine number 90 that came out right before Age of Apocalypse started. Adam Kubert did this like big issue with a big fight with Sabretooth, some like fold out pages. A lot of artwork in there, so he probably needed a bit of a break to catch back up. But I think he's like full on display here. So there's all these humans trudging along through this water. They're in Europe here. And Wolverine's freaking out, like yelling for Jean. He says there's the faintest trace of the Psi Link that used to be like a river between us. And it led him here to the coast of England. Because, he woke up and she wasn't in bed. Yeah, she was gone. And they had a Psi Link that used to be like keep them connected, but now it's like getting less and less for whatever reason. Wolverine had, Weapon X. Wolverine had rescued Jean Grey from the pens of Mr. Sinister that we see in Factor X here. That's how he lost his hand to Cyclops. That's how Cyclops lost his eye. And for like gratitude, whether she really loves him or not, is kind of like ambiguous, like if she does. But they're an item, but Wolverine gets the feeling that she's doing it more out of gratitude than real love. But he loves her. So he's yelling for her. And it's the drop off of the Great Sentinel airlift. And this is all the evacuation that's going on in Amazing X-Men number 1 and 2. These fucking Sentinels are just picking them up and holding on to them as they fly across us, like the most unsafe way. You think they could create like some kind of like helicarrier or something to load people on, but whatever. So Jean is here and she's helping out, carrying some kids, pulling them along. You see Wolverine way back in the distance. Jean! As she's walking up. And these guys are going through the checkpoint. Cool fucking picture. I like the thing of the Sentinel here. The destroyed arm. I think since Trask designed these, but with the help of Moira McTaggart, I think they're married. The Sentinels look a little bit more human. Yeah, with like more features of a nose and mouth. So Wolverine comes running up to her. He's like, I found you. I was looking everywhere for you. And he's like, he kind of has some bad ideas because she doesn't like the idea of what the Human Council is going to do by nuking America, and killing a whole bunch of people. But she's like, so he thought she was going to warn them, but she's like, I just had to come out and help. And you see a few people here as they're coming through. And this one guy says, Pierce, that's Weapon X, you said. And we know Pierce is Donald Pierce in the main universe. And him and the Reavers were the ones that crucified Wolverine in those classic issues of Uncanny X-Men. And she's still debating with Wolverine here, saying, I have to believe there's another way. And Wolverine's like, I don't get it. You were captured. You should be the first in line. After, you're one of the few who survived the pen. She's like, I'll never forget that. So people are going through this checkpoint. But there's a weapon at scanner number 3, and there's this cloaked guy here, and the Pierce and whoever these assholes are watching. And it says it's Jeffries, him, the shapeshifter Vanessa. They joined the lift in Maine. That happened in an Amazing X-Men number 2. So that is Box and Copycat. So here they are. They I don't know what the fuck their plan was, their mission was. They just show up and start punching humans in the face. Go for it, Box! Back me up, Copycat, just in case you didn't know who they were. So she has a gun. She has a righteous cause for Apocalypse, for purity and truth, and she starts firing. And Box here, that's a cool picture here. He's just some weird like cyborg robot thing, right? I don't even know what he is. So you ready to be purified human with the cleansing fire? And he's shooting, she's shooting. They're just causing all sorts of ruckus. And yeah, this is sad. So they hit some of these children, and it looks like it's the ones that Jean was helping here. This girl has like this baby doll. Yeah, so they shoot them, and Jean takes that very fucking hard, as would I. You can see her, and she's going into attack, and there's Wolverine. And they're kind of a kick-ass combo, right? So Wolverine goes and punches his fucking head off or something with his stump. And Copycat gets fucking blasted. That's a kind of a funny picture of her. And Wolverine finishes him off with his claws. She says, it's over. And he's like, this is war. Don't you understand? It's kill or be killed. And she's like, yeah, I know. I understand it too much. And then they have this moment where Wolverine's like, there's a moment at the pens that it seemed like you didn't want to leave. So what's going on, Jean? He's like, I got to go back to the High Council and do a briefing. You do what you have to do, Jean. She doesn't look like she's having a good time. That's a cool shot, though, with all the action lines. So, you're in the High Council. Someone yells after Wolverine, Logan-san! He looks back, and this is Mariko. And we know in the real world that they had a romance. She ended up dying, but they were supposed to be married. But now she's alive here. She wants to talk to him in private, and she says, you don't have to be so formal by calling me Lady Mariko. You knew me as Mariko? Mary? Yeah. He's like, yeah, you were just a kid, a teenager. He's like, don't worry, I remember you. That's a cool shot. Wolverine's hair is fucking huge. I know, in real life, Hugh Jackman kind of has to keep his short, but can you imagine Hugh Jackman with this kind of a fucking hairdo? Wonder how he'll look in the MCU. In the new version. No, not Hugh Jackman. Anyways, these two are talking about the plan, and that Mariko here doesn't really want to go through with this plan of nuking everything too. And he's like, oh yeah, it seems like ladies of my acquaintance have that same idea. And she talks about how there's something she doesn't trust about Brian Braddock, Captain Britain. I guess he's a human, right? I don't know anything about him. Is he a human or is he a mutant? He's like, it's just as he's vested interest in the escalating war between mutants and humans. Like, yeah, of course he does. He manufactures Sentinels. He's one of the most important humans on the face of the earth. And she's like, I don't know if his intentions are pure. I kind of like this outfit she's wearing. Sexy, right? Then an explosion happens. Because they're up high. They're on a ship, right? Yeah, I guess. But they're under attack by some mutant terrorists. And they see on these monitors it's Pierce, and they're not mutants, they're altered humans. And they're trying to destroy this guidance system. The system is irreplaceable. Without it, our weapons are worthless. Yeah. It's the guidance system for the Doomsday attack. So if they destroy it, our plan is fucked, right? So maybe that's what the mission was of these two back here, was to distract everybody so these other guys, Pierce and whoever, could get through to destroy this guidance system. Let's pretend. Let's say that's what happened, and it wasn't just bad writing. So Wolverine, he goes like, "I heard you're Mary," so he calls her by her name that he used to, and he kind of makes note of that. He's like, "I didn't call her by her official name." He's like, "Got to be losing it." So he jumps out, crashes through the window. He's like, "The updraft from the fire will slow me down a little bit." So he's falling. He's falling through fire. And they're about to fire on the... Let's see. "We cannot allow the guidance system to be destroyed, Brian. Even if we have to steer ourselves into the burning airship." So yeah, they say like, "Oh, we could like shoot it out of the way." Like, no, don't. Wolverine just jumped onto the ship. He's gonna try and take it out. So here's Pierce and all these assholes, and they're killing humans because that's what they do. Crazy, weird perspectives from Adam Kubert. The Kubert brothers like doing that kind of shit. Here comes Wolverine, comes busting through. His hair's burnt off. A lot of his clothes are burnt off. Looks cool. He comes landing down. It's the pretty boys, I guess they're calling him. "I want his claws for a neck." So these two guys come running up. And Beavis and Butthead show up. But as they go running, I guess Wolverine just, I don't know, ducks and catches them and uses their momentum to throw them out of the ship, I guess. So now it's Pierce's turn. He's like, "I don't play by your rules. I'm the guy who kicks over the checkerboard." And so I guess he sets off a grenade or a detonation on this ship, which I guess takes care of the problem because they're not worrying about saving the guidance system anymore. No, he took it out. Yeah, okay. They say Wolverine failed. He allowed those agents of Apocalypse to foil our chance at a first strike. So, okay, Wolverine, yeah, you fucked up. You weren't fast enough. They should have just, like, sacrificed themselves or did whatever. Thanks a lot, Wolverine. But then they see Wolverine walking out of the fire. And where's Jean Grey in all of this, you may be asking. And that's what he asks himself, because he hears through her Psylink that a voice says in his head that she was saying goodbye, and he recognizes it as Jean as he's going through all this. So she's saying goodbye suddenly. So she's on this plane. She gets it up, ready. I guess she's a pilot. She knows how to fly. And she goes speeding off. And Wolverine comes in, hot on her trails on this motorcycle. He's like, "I can't let you go. I can't leave you. I can't let you go back to the United States and warn them what's going to come. I can't." She's like, "Then you'll have to stop me. Because I couldn't live with myself or either one of us if I didn't try to stop what's happened." She grabs him, gives him a kiss. Very weird way, right? She's like, "If you ever truly loved me, make it quick." And she like kind of gives him the opportunity for her throat. Like, "You have to kill me to stop me. And if you're going to do that, make it quick." And the fucking plane goes off over the side. And it goes swooping down. She pulls back on the handle, not the throttle, whatever that is. Plane goes swooping up, and it flies off, and you see Wolverine there. She looked back, kind of touching her throat. Plane goes flying off, and he just watches her leave. Cool moment, cool storytelling. Not a lot of words needed. Not a lot of poetry that a lot of writers like to write, like some of this shit. She's going, he tries to stop her, she's going to let him do it, but he can't bring himself to kill her, and he just watches her leave. And what does Wolverine do next? Cool drawing here, him looking away, like the shading and all that, his burnt hair. So there we go. That's issue number 2 of Wolverine, or Weapon X, showing what's going on the other side of the world, what the humans are planning to do against Apocalypse. Wolverine's right in the middle of that. But now they can't do their airstrike without the guidance system. So what are we going to do? So we'll have to look in the next issue for that. So thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. And as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.